Have you ever heard the saying, little things make a big difference? Well, chances are you weren't thinking about nanoparticles. And if you were, you might be a petroleum engineer. Nanoparticles are a fascinating technical topic in the field of petroleum engineering. You might be asking yourself, what exactly are nanoparticles? Well, as you may have suspected, they're just really small particles. Particles with a diameter between 10 and 1,000 nanometers. Hi, I'm Walker Bancroft, and I'm a petroleum engineering student at Texas A&M University. As a petroleum engineering student, I'm always looking for new ways to improve the efficiency and safety of my engineering solutions. Today, I'll be talking about how nanoparticles, something too small to be seen with a blind eye, can be the difference between me having a successful engineering solution and not having a solution at all. Specifically, I'll be talking about how nanoparticles can enhance oil recovery and solve wellbore instability issues. Afterwards, I'll discuss the current limitations and operational use today. One of the most important things that makes nanoparticles special is their high surface area to volume ratio. This high surface area to volume ratio exhibits high surface active properties which can affect the surrounding substances. For my case, the surrounding substances could be oil. Nanoparticles can enhance oil recovery by increasing the mobility of oil in a variety of different ways. The first way they can do so is by decreasing the viscosity of oil. By decreasing the viscosity of oil, you're decreasing the oil's resistance to flow and therefore making it easier to recover the oil. In a 2012 research paper presented at the Society of Petroleum Engineering Conference in the UAE, the research team reported that the maximum percentage increase in recovery factor due to nanoflooding was noticed to be about 14%. Who wouldn't want to increase their recovery factor by 14%? Now, another important factor when it comes to recovering oil is the formation wettability. You can think of wettability kind of like a rain jacket. A rain jacket that's water repellent repels water, but if you put oil on it, it'll absorb it. In petroleum engineering, this can be seen as an oil wet formation. However, if we could somehow reverse the effects of this rain jacket and make it an oil repellent rain jacket where it repels the oil and absorbs the water, it'll make it way easier to recover the oil. Now, this difference between oil wet and water wet can be the difference between not recovering and not producing the formation and then producing an economically efficient formation. A 2012 Society of Petroleum Engineering technical exhibition called Enhanced Oil Recovery Using Nanoparticles noted that the nanoparticles that they used have a tendency to improve the oil recovery through the change of rock wettability. Now, this is a huge breakthrough in our field of study, so it's something to be greatly excited about. Now, in the US, a majority of the formations that we drill are shale formations. In fact, it's estimated that shale formations account for about 75% of all drilled formations. However, they also account for 90% of the wellbore instability expenses. Nanoparticles can solve wellbore instability problems in shale formations. The first way they can do so is by controlling fluid loss by plugging the pore throats in the shale. You can think of pore throats as the small holes in the shale where the drilling fluid can escape through and get into the formation, never to be seen again. Now, this is not good for the petroleum engineer because drilling fluids are extremely expensive and it'll really hurt our economic part of the project. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, completion fluids account for 12% of the cost of U.S. onshore drilling and completion operations between the years 2007 and 2016. Another way that nanoparticles plugging the pore throats in the shale is beneficial is not only from controlling the fluid loss, but also stabilizing the formation by strengthening the wellbore. You can think of how nanoparticles do this. It's kind of like a bed of nails. The more nanoparticles that you have plugging the pore throats, the more nails you have. Thus, the more evenly distributed the force is. However, the less nanoparticles that you have plugging the pore throats, the less nails you have, and the more likely you are to either puncture your foot or, for our case, for the wellbore to collapse. In a 2014 paper presented at the SPE conference in Amsterdam, Contreras and his team concluded that wellbore strengthening reached a maximum value of 30% using his nanoparticle and graphite. Now, although nanoparticles have been proven to be quite useful, there's still a long way to go. The operational use of nanoparticles in the field is currently quite limited. Professors at the University of Texas wrote in a 2019 research paper called How Do Nanoparticles Stabilize Shale? That the use of nanoparticles requires a dedicated thoroughly engineered solution for each field application. Now this is due to the infinite combination of rock formation, formation fluids, or even fluid additives. And all of this can also vary upon the location, engineering team assembled, and also corporate constraints. These different combinations made it really hard to get consistent evidence for explaining how nanoparticles interact with each one. You can categorize nanoparticle research as being in the embryonic stage, but however, the future for nanoparticles is really bright. Nanoparticles are likely to be the cutting-edge technology of the oil and gas industry for the foreseeable future. Whether nanoparticles are enhancing oil recovery, solving wellbore instability issues, nanoparticles are for sure going to play a big part in the future of petroleum engineering. With further research and development, nanoparticles will find widespread operational use. We've only just scratched the surface of the potential and versatility of nanoparticles. Nanoparticles are truly more than meets the eye. These little things can make a big difference. Thank you.